Now, it's not often that we get an opportunity to have a chat with one of the adjudicators at the Manx Music Festival simply because they're working so hard. But I have taken Vivienne Doolan away from her lunch to record this interview. Vivienne, it's lovely to have the opportunity to have a chat. Welcome to the Manx Music Festival.
Well, you're very welcome, Judith, and it's my pleasure being here. I'm just having a fantastic time since I arrived.
Well, we're certainly enjoying your adjudication, and drama, spoken word is just a part of your background, isn't it? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I started studying drama at about 6 years of age. Two of my friends and myself went to a teacher relatively near to where I lived, and then I just really loved it. And it got to a stage where the exams were getting harder, so my friends backed out. But I continued with it. But then I was coming to Leaving Cert, which would be, I think, the equivalent of A levels. And I had to stop because the teacher switched from a Saturday to a Monday night class. And although she lived relatively near, I had to take 2 buses to get to her. So then I started studying when I finished second level, and it was my dad who kept on saying, "Vivienne, look at all those exams you did." And he said it to me quite a bit. So another girl that had to stop for the same reason and I went back to our original teacher and persuaded her to put us through the diplomas.
So then, quite a lot of studying again and a lot of discipline. Did you enjoy that?
I did. I picked up from where I left off. I had one more grade exam to do, and then my diploma. And I just loved being back, and I was delighted. And I have my dad to thank for that, really, because he kept saying it to me, you know.
Do you know, isn't it interesting how you talk to people and it's always somebody on their life journey who's encouraged them, who's seen a talent, who said, you could do this.
Yes.
Have you found the opportunity that you've had to do that for other people through the years?
Yes, because now I decided about 4 years ago to stop teaching. I had never really had the chance to act, and I had done a performance fellowship 12 years ago with London College, and people were saying to me, why don't you go back acting? But I'm talking about me now, but with some of my students, I have encouraged them, but in a gingerly kind of a way, to study acting, because it's very, very difficult. And so you'd often need another job as well, you know. Yeah. So, but I've obviously teaching for a number of years, I would have had a huge amount of talented students, you know. And my last girl now is a fabulous singer as well, but she has found it very, very difficult to find work, especially with the pandemic. Yes. And of course, she's had to go back and work in her parents' business. So I think you want to be very, very brave to take up acting as a full-time profession. I think you would be hungry a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And so many of the people that we have friends on the island, young people who've gone away, very, very talented, multi-talented, able to sing, dance, act, being able to operate all the disciplines. Yeah. But at the same time, they have to, as you say, have another job or be able to teach. But let's talk a little bit about the performance that you have done.
The performance that I have done, I performed in what we would call festina, or what we like festivals, the Irish word for a festival. So I might do a poem, I might do a solo drama, or I might do a mime. And it was very daunting, actually, in the place where I used to do these festinas as a child, because it was a massive stage in a dark hall. And I can still remember the first time I went on stage and the absolute terror of being on this huge, huge stage. But I think it's fabulous for building confidence in children. And now, I didn't, as a teacher, push festivals with students. I insisted, though, that they all did an exam every year to reach a standard, and to all, even on a CV, it's useful to write down, that you've done drama up to a certain level, because I worked also in HR for a number of years, and sometimes you would be interviewing somebody who had no work experience. You know, they were brand new to starting their first job. So naturally you say, well, what am I going to ask them about? So if you know, you might question them on their hobbies or interests that they have, you know.
Yeah, I can understand. Now, you just slipped in a little mention there of mime. And one of the things that you're going to be doing, in fact, just out of this conversation, is judging this brand new classes that we've got in the Guild for mime, for young people and for adults.
Yeah.
Now, I can't begin, I have to confess to say that the only mime I've seen has been some very talented, but street artists, street entertainers. I have seen it there. But I can't imagine. Just explain to me what the discipline is about and what you look for as an adjudicator.
Right. Well, the basis of mime really is dramatic action unaccompanied by words. So you only have your body and your facial expression, your movement to tell the story. There has to be a clear storyline, an opening, a middle and an end. So anybody looking at it has to be able to follow the sequence of events from start to finish. Sometimes children think that their actions are over exaggerated. You have to make them really, really large because you don't have speech to tell the story. And the face should match the mood of the mime. Now, when you start off doing mime, you usually start off doing what's called occupational mime. So you might be bringing the dog for a walk, a simple storyline, or making a pizza or something like that. And then as you get more experienced in it, you move on to what's called emotional mime. So where, you know, you could be doing a mime maybe involving somebody dying, or the celebration of a birthday party. So facial expression will be terribly important. Also, when you're doing mime, you have to be careful not to turn your back on the audience. And, you know, you often have imaginary objects like cupboards. So you cannot place them at the back of the stage. They have to be, imagine if the audience is out here, the imaginary cupboard would have to be here so that your face can be seen, that you wouldn't turn your back up towards the back of the stage, because we lose the expression, you know. And in group mime, what's very, very useful is you can't have too much action going on together. Say if you had a group of 5 or 6 doing a mime, so freezes are very useful. So 3 people, they might be doing, and they'd freeze, and then we look at the other 3, because otherwise if we've got 2 lots of simultaneous action, we don't know where to look. And so, as I say, a definite storyline, varied, not the same actions over and over, not predictable actions either, like for I'm hungry, you know, like be a bit more creative than that.
It's absolutely fascinating. I cannot wait to go and look at this class. Was it something you enjoyed doing, or is you have to gift to communicators?
I loved doing mime, and I'll tell you why, Judith. I developed a love for it because as a child, the exam body that I studied with, the Royal Irish Academy in Dublin, there was a compulsory mime on every grade. So from kindergarten up to grade 8, there was a mime.
Well, it's been absolutely fascinating talking, and just a very light question to finish with.
Yes.
Dream role, a dream role, if you had your dream acting role, what would you like to do? Maybe something solo or in a play or whatever. What would be your dream?
I would like, I saw recently the film called Iris with Jim Broadbent and Judi Dench. Now, I know my forte is comedy. I have got better at the more serious stuff the older that I've got, but I'd like to play something really challenging like that.
And that certainly would be challenging. But now there's another question come out of
Okay.
that. Comedy, you say that comedy is your forte.
Yes.
And the reason that we so enjoy having you around here at the Guild is you are such an easy communicator. You make us all feel at home and relaxed. And that's lovely. It's lovely for the competitors. It's lovely for the rest of us who've just been sitting around and chatting with you. Now, when you say comedy, do you like the comical characters, to portray a comical character? Or is it the words you use?
Yes, to portray a comical character, yes. One of my favourite characters I ever played, and in fact she was one of my fellowship pieces, was a character called Mrs. Candor from one of Brinsley Sheridan's plays. And she's hilarious because she is sickly sweet but dynamite in what she says. You know, she'd say something like, I hope 'tis not true that your brother is absolutely ruined. And she's thrilled. The more people that are, oh, I heard so. But you must tell him to keep up his spirits. Everybody, almost, is in the same way. So I just love her. She's so, and as somebody describes her in the play, you actually feel worse when you've gone into a room that she's in. But I adored her.
Well, I would love to meet a little bit more of Mrs. Candour, but I have to let you go back to the day job. But isn't that a great skill where you are acting so well that somebody hates the character because your acting is so good and they really, really dislike the person that you're portraying?
Yeah. And the fact she's so hypocritical because she does it in this terribly sweet, false way, you know. I love her. Also, another piece that I did that I loved was Lady Wishford, and she's an aging coquette, and she's planning to snare this I can't think of his name now, Sir Rowland, and she's planning all her moves with her maid, and that's hysterical as well. So I love those kind of pieces.
Vivienne, we love having you around. Vivienne Doolan, thank you very much indeed for talking with us and for being with us here at the Guild. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Judith, and it's been my pleasure, and I'm hoping now to explore the Isle of Man in the next couple of days.
Well, we'll order some sunshine for you. Have a great time. Thank you, Vivienne. Thank you.